The markets are in for some fun today. We have 4 Fed speeches, including Chair Powell. And their markets will also be facing the headwind of 7 straight up days. And there's a lot of good news in the market and for Tesla, so there's no reason for the market to go down, but it is, going to get harder and harder for it to continue to be up day after day after day. So we'll see what happens over the next few days. I think in general, we will see an up market. There's new numbers from China, which are part of the good news for Tesla today, which kind of begs the question of why isn't Tesla up more strongly, even counter market in this particular climate? Anyway, this is Randy Kirk. You know what to do. You hit the like button because it helps the algorithm, even though you're on here every day, once, twice, 3 times a day. If you hit the like button every time, it just helps, okay? And then subscribe if you haven't already done it and hit notify. I'm thinking about doing a question and answer session later today, the midday version. So that would be an opportunity for you to ask me questions about Tesla, about Elon Musk, about the economy, about the stock market, anything that you can think of that you've been wondering, Randy, why do you think the way you think? Oh yeah, let's see. Speaking of why do I think the way I think, let me get whoops, I don't have a pocket today. All right, well, there you go. Anyway, but even personal questions. I have 4 kids and 9 grandkids. And there's probably more to come. Anyway, what other personal questions might you have? Here's your chance if you want to know more. And then, of course, you want to get your Cybertruck bottle opener. Don't forget to get this. It's November. What is it today? The 8th. You want to make sure you're getting these Christmas gifts lined up, and what a great gift this would be. All the information below on quantity pricing, etc., is in the description. All right, so let's start off with the most recent news. I just saw it 2 seconds ago. India's Commerce Minister will meet Elon next week in the United States. So I think there's progress being made. Maybe they have some stuff they still need to get straight. I don't know, and there was no content in the article which gave us any indication of what the meeting was to discuss or how far along they are in progress. Anyway, but at least baby steps. Gary Black says this morning, speculation is building that the $25,000 EV from Tesla might come before 2025. But he gives us no backup for that. Where's the speculation coming from, Gary? Where are your sources? But again, he's looking at a lot of sources. He's talking to a lot of people. He's got a lot of folks that I don't have access to. So he thinks that the compact car is coming in 2020. Before 2025, which would mean 2024. I believe that's also the case. I'm going to just go out on a limb here. It will be built in Austin. It will be in 2024, and we will have a reveal before the end of April. I just made that up, okay? But I'm just trying to think. We need a reveal. It's not going to be. They're not going to be making these and shipping these until third, maybe even beginning of fourth quarter. So when would that reveal come? Maybe you can tell me in the comments below. When do you think the reveal will be? When do you think they'll start making them? That's roughly where I think, just again, connecting dots, listening to folks, paying attention to what's being said by the people at Tesla themselves. Anyway, China October numbers are in, and they're about what we might have expected. This is from Teslarati. Data recently released by the China Passenger Car Association has revealed that Tesla China exported 43,489 vehicles in October. A total of 72,150 Giga Shanghai-made vehicles were sold by Tesla China last month, as per the CPCA. Considering the numbers of vehicles that were exported, it would appear that Tesla China was able to deliver 28,626 vehicles domestically in October. Anyway, that's a 66% increase year over year, but a decrease from September, because September was just before they were shutting down for their transfer over to the new vehicles. So anyway, looking like kind of normal. 72,000 is kind of a low number right now. 80,000+ is where we're kind of expecting every month, even as high as 90,000. So I'm expecting that in November and December, we will see numbers that will be very close to that 90,000 number. All right, let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. The domestic increase was 38% year over year. Tesla China exports from January to October are estimated at 308,000, which is a 40% improvement year over year. But of course, EV and Tesla are suffering from a lack of demand in China. Of course they are. Well, speaking of China, Berkshire Hathaway has now sold 50% of its holdings in BYD. I continue to think BYD is going to be the second place BEV company in 2030 behind Tesla. I agree with Larry Goldberg. There's something which he mentioned last night in our show. If you didn't see that, you might want to go back and look. It's a very, very good opportunity with Larry. And there's something odd in the BEV financials. He thinks there's a lack of transparency. He thinks there's something that they're not telling us. And maybe Berkshire has the same feelings. That is pure speculation. But why are they selling 50% of their holding in a company that's growing that fast and starting to make money? I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, and they have tons of cash. It's not like they need the cash. Rumors from various sources. This is something else. How this is the rumors continue that we will see price increases tomorrow on Tesla, not just the Model Y now. Now people are saying that both Model Y and Model 3 will have price increases with regard to Shanghai tomorrow, with regard to China numbers tomorrow. So that'll be interesting. We'll see is what comes out of that. Now, TCD is a resource that I don't have a lot of respect for. I've been unimpressed with. So I'm going to just throw their stat out, and you can take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because they gave us no link. They gave us no resource. They didn't tell us where this number comes from. But here's their quote. Tesla has now begun offering data to the public on how long its batteries take to wear out. And the news, at least as Tesla reports it, sounds good. The batteries for the Model S and Model X degrade only 12% after 200,000 miles. Okay. Like I said, take it for what it's worth. Okay, Barron's has a bear argument for the stock market this morning that I thought was worth talking about. Can stocks keep rising? Rosenberg has his doubts. In a report released Wednesday morning, he calls the market's rally rather junky and offers 3 reasons why: earnings, short covering, and breadth. He says third quarter earnings have actually been pretty good, but guidance has not. Estimates of fourth quarter earnings per share have dropped 4%, with 8 out of 11 sectors experiencing downgrades. Of the 75 companies that have issued guidance, 64% have provided downbeat forecasts. Now, I'm just going to say right now, we are expecting softer fourth quarter, generally, not for Tesla, generally softer fourth quarter and generally softer first half next year, but not something that would cause the market to collapse. Anyway, and he goes on to say, it's not like the rally has been driven by the companies with strong fundamentals. Instead, the biggest gainers have been the most shorted stocks, Rosenberg said, as well as those with the weak balance sheets, which he dubs the non-profitable tech. This is a sign that this is a reflexive move in the market. He says increases driven by technicals and complacency rather than any fundamental strength. Hence, there are more reasons to be cautious. Again, I think that what we're looking at is a problem with a lack of rotation so far. I would expect some rotation out of the techs, some of the money to come out of the techs. Doesn't mean the techs will go down. It just means that there will be less money going into the techs, and that money will start to go into the broader market. Finally, Rosenberg notes that small cap stocks are not participating. That's what I just said. And while the monthly returns have been fine, the index has risen 4.3%, just a touch below the S&P 500's. That's the Russell 2000. I'm sorry, has risen 4.3, a touch below the S&P's 4.4. And they're still down 1.6 for the year, where the S&P is up 14 and the NASDAQ is up 30. That 32 percentage point gap between the NASDAQ and the Russell is the largest in the last 2 years and 2.5 decades, and was last seen in the lead up to the dot-com bubble. This is not a dot-com bubble. There is no history. Anyway, this has no relationship. What we're going through right now couldn't be further from the dot-com bubble in every way possible that you can think of. Anyway, Rosenberg, he says in the article, he has a reputation for leaning bearish, so his argument should be looked at through that lens. but it's a reminder that the market does have a short-term momentum. Doesn't mean it'll keep going. I don't look at this as short-term momentum. I believe this bull market started last October. Kathy Wood believes this bull market started last October, and that we had a correction, and now we will be going. Now we are in the second leg. Anyway, here's yeah. So I have yeah, I'm going to skip that for now. I might do that later today. Let me jump ahead. So when bonds go down, when inflation goes down and bonds go down, then mortgages go down. Here is from The Street, another resource that I don't care for, but I don't think they got this one wrong. The Mortgage Bankers Association said average 30-year fixed rates for conforming loan balances of less than $726,000, which is, the non-jumbos, the conforming, fell by 25 basis points, or a quarter percentage points, to 7.61 for the week ending November 3rd. That was last week, a move that marks the biggest week-on-week decline since July of last year. The MBA's average rate hit 7.9 in late October, the highest since 2000. So what we're looking at here is mortgage rates are coming down rapidly, just as the bond rates are coming down rapidly. I didn't look this morning. Maybe I'll look at this later today for maybe this afternoon's our new Good News Wednesday session. And is today Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Yes, Good News Wednesday. Maybe I'll take a look at that too to see how our mortgage is doing so far this week. Now, I'm going to do just 2 seconds on the war issue. I am no expert on war. I'm no expert on international affairs, but I read hundreds of sources every day. The general sense that I'm seeing is that the Ukraine is now in stalemate, and there are peace talks starting to be talked about. There is potential, apparently, for something to happen in the Ukraine with regard to this war, because it's going nowhere and they're going towards winter, and fighting a war in the Ukraine in winter is a horrible thing, and both sides are exhausted. So that's what I'm reading and hearing. In Israel, also kind of a surprise, but not really a surprise, is that Israel is handling Hamas much faster, I think, than anybody thought they would handle them. They're already in the central city. And it seems easier and faster, I think, than people thought. So this cleanup operation of getting rid of Hamas, getting rid of their fighting capability, and getting rid of them as a political resource in the Gaza might not be a month-long enterprise. Right now, it's looking like it might be over shortly. So both of those things, of course, would be excellent for the world, for everybody, for Israel. I'd love to see both of those things happen. Anyway, let's see where we are right now. We had a weird beginning to the morning again, kind of like yesterday morning's beginning. We had an up market, an up Tesla being up more than the rest of the market, and then Tesla kind of collapsed like it did yesterday, and now it's heading back up again. So we're kind of following the same pattern. The difference was yesterday is that Tesla was completely counter market, and today it's kind of following the market around, but at a little lower level. Now, I'm thinking that might be that there's some folks. I used to do this, okay? There would be an up when I was day trading. Tesla would be up in the morning. I would grab my profits, and then later in the day, Tesla would reverse and go up, and I would buy back in. It kind of looks like that's what's happening. I did notice one day trader mentioning yesterday on Tesla. He was saying, "Boy, there's a lot of money to be made every day on these swings." And I, again, as an ex-day trader, I made a lot of money day trading. I think that's making sense to me right now. So Tesla is now heading down a little bit again, $1.39 off at 220. And the Dow Jones is up 72, the NASDAQ up 34, S&P up 10. Let's put that into percentages. We have the Dow up 0.19. We have the NASDAQ up 0.26 and the S&P up 0.25. Tesla down 0.7% at this point. We have the Magnificent Seven completely mixed up. I mean, half red, half green. And we have the Kathy Woods are almost all down. Down like, and this is weird that Cathie Woods are down this morning in the way that you would expect the bond market to be selling off and yields to be going up, which is not the case, as we'll see here in just a second. But in general, the Cathie Woods, so it might be some profit taking and some day trading going on there as well. Anyway, let's take a look at the rest of the stats this morning. We'll start with bonds this morning. You've got the 10-year down almost 2 basis points to 4.55, and that's with that big bond sale today. The 10-year bonds, big sale today. I think it's a record size ever of the 10-year, and we've got the 30-year going tomorrow. It is also, I don't usually talk about 30-year, but it is down 4 basis points this morning. So people are buying the 10-year, they're buying the 30-year, and yet the 2-year is actually, well, it's breaking even, and we've started to see this re-inversion between the 10 and the 2. The 2-month is also down, but not as much. So the 2-year in particular is re-inverting. It's a very odd thing that we're seeing here. Again, maybe it isn't odd because you've heard me talk about my theory, and my theory is we can't compare this period in history economically to any other period because people have money in their homes. They've got money in their pensions. The old folks have got all the wealth. They're not hurting or suffering. Also, the wealthy are doing very well right now. The middle class, they're suffering more from the inflation. Obviously, the inflation is a middle class tax. It doesn't affect folks that have lots of money or lots of income nearly as much, as makes sense. I mean, that's just economic sense. So I think in general, what we're seeing here is a very, very different economy. And that is why we're seeing this inversion continuing. It started in July of last year, and now we're in November. I mean, this is a very, very long inversion, and it's a very big inversion. And so I don't think we can look at it as any kind of a predictor of a recession. That would be the kind of predictor of a recession where you just predict it forever, and eventually you're right. The clock is right twice a day. Okay, let's look at the rest of this information this morning. We have got oil down another $0.50 at 76.86. We're now under 77. We've got natural gas up a little this morning, rebounding after it was down so much. We've got gold is down another $6 at 1967. We have got the dollar rising according to this, and we've got the Bitcoin rather down $300 after its big run up yesterday. So in general, we're looking at a big mix of where people are moving their money around right now. It's into bonds, into in particular 10-year bonds, and out of dollars, out of oil, out of commodities in general. I think I'm going to talk a lot about commodities tonight and about the inflation tonight. So if you're interested in that, I think that's going to be a big subject either for noon today or for tonight. Remember, noon today, I'm going to be talking about, I'm probably going to do a Q&A. Now, there could be breaking news, or something that I think is far, super important, and I might combine that with a Q&A. So if you've got questions about any aspect of what I talk about on the show, or even personal questions, you've been hanging around me long enough now, you'd like to know a little bit more about, what I have for breakfast. I doubt that's interesting, but anyway, something that you're curious about, let me know. Let me take a minute now. I mean, I'm done with all this stuff, so you can, unless you want to give the last call on Tesla, which I always do at the end. If you don't want to hear the commercial one more time. For those of you who don't know it, this is made out of this little bottle opener. See, it's a bottle opener. It's a really good bottle. Everybody that's getting this, every review I've gotten on this has said, oh my gosh, they were so impressed when they got it. I mean, everything from the really, really good gift box, a magnetic opening gift box, kind of an Apple-esque, kind of thing, where it just really, it makes a nice presentation when the individual gets it. It is a solid piece, huge magnet on the back. So when it goes on your refrigerator, it's going to hold on the refrigerator and hold papers under it, which is, what we do on the refrigerator. This is a very outstanding refrigerator magnet, 3 millimeters thick, just like the Tesla. Comes in camo or stainless. Please let me know which one you want, camo or stainless, when you place your order. The orders have been excellent again this week. Thank you very much. I think we old men, I think it's something about 60% of the people who watch this channel are 65 and older men. Okay, 95% men and 65% over 65 and even more higher percentage over 55 and almost 100% over 45. But for you young men out there, you don't buy your Christmas presents either until Christmas Eve, right? So take advantage right now. This is your opportunity. Then you want to join Patreon. Why do you want to join Patreon? Well, you want to join Patreon just to be a supporter of the program. It's kind of like a tip at the restaurant, okay? You wouldn't walk away without giving that tip, right? You're getting value from that waiter. Well, if you're getting value for watching this show and you can afford the $5 a month, or even better, the $10 a month, well, give me a tip. It would be lovely. Am I giving you service? Am I giving you benefit? Is there some value here? Is it as much value as you get from other things that you spend $10 a month on, like 2 lattes? Don't do it if you can't afford it. Seriously, honestly, I don't want you to, at the end of the month, go, oh man, I can't send that $10 anymore to Randy because, I can't pay my bills. No, don't do that. Only if you can afford it. All right, that's my whole pitch. Let's go back one last time and take a look at what Tesla is doing as I say goodbye. It says here that Tesla is now down 1.41%, and the NASDAQ is now down. So maybe Tesla is leading the NASDAQ this morning. Maybe that's what's going on. I'm not sure. All right. So that's all I got for you this morning, and it's been great talking to you.